Thank you. Good morning. Wow, what a beautiful day in Pembroke Pines. There's a reason why we're the happiest city in the world. Well, Florida anyway. But today, we honor our great veterans and those veterans who gave their lives for us to do what we do in this great world, and especially in Pembroke Pines. This city will always have a memorial for our veterans, a Veterans Day, and we honor Donnie Fletcher for what he did for us. Donna's mother here? His aunt, I'm sorry. Are you here? Stand up, please. Right here, I'm sorry. Donnie Fletcher's aunt? Nice to see you. And of course, we have our great statue of him, and we every day praise to God that he made our lives so wonderful. We also want to recognize Sergeant Restrepo for what he did. Flanagan High graduate, named the street after him, and we just love him and love all of our service people. So, with that, the greatest pastor in the world, Pastor Pete Toka.
At this time, for those who would like to join me, I'll offer the invocation. So if you would like to pray with me, bow your heads at this time. Eternal God, we thank you for this beautiful day to come out and to remember and to honor brave service men and women who have sacrificed their lives to protect the freedom that we here in the United States enjoy every day and frankly take for granted. Memorial Day is a day our country sets aside to remind us that freedom is never free. It comes with a price. And today, we honor those who paid that price. We also want to remember today those whose lives have never been the same since their service member gave his or her life, because they have to live every day with that void in their life. And God, our prayer is that you might bring the peace to them that only you can bring, that you might comfort them, and that you might allow them through ceremonies like we are participating in right now, that their loved one will never be forgotten, at least not here in the city of Pembroke Pines. So God, bless everything that is done today. May it be done to the honor of these great, brave patriots. May it be done to your glory. For in your holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. If you are physically able, I'm going to invite you to rise for the presentation of the colors, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our Pembroke Pines Royal Court, and then the national anthem by Mr. Preston Howe. Present the colors.
Mark. Ready, hold, left, face, reset, arms.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we stand at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. At this time, let's give another great welcome to our mayor, Mayor Frank Ortis. And Mayor, once again, I would like to say on behalf of all of us here, thank you. And to our commission, thank you for sponsoring this event every year. It gives us an opportunity to have some place to come and to pay our tribute, to give honor, and to give our thanks to those who sacrifice their lives in the defense of our freedom. So thank you. Let's give them a hand again.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor, for that. And again, thank you for all you do for us. Want to introduce some people. Patty Good, school board member. Patty, thanks for always being here. The best city attorney anybody could have. They're all jealous they don't have him. Sam Gore and his lovely wife, Shelley. Former police chief and now MDC director, Dan Justino. There he is. And our great police chief, Kip Shipino. All right, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Vice Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, Jay Schwartz. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. You know, Memorial Day. Pastor Pete, you always have a way of hitting the mark early. It's not a day for politics. It's not a day for the barbecues. It's about a day of remembering sacrifice. You know, this country was founded based on folks who were willing to die for the cause, whether it be the revolution or the Constitution. You look amongst us and you're going to see all walks of life from all different countries, all different faiths. And our military encompassed all of that. It still does. We have troops in harm's way today, and there are families who go to bed at night praying that they have a safe return. This city has honored veterans for decades. And Mayor Ortis, I'm proud to be able to serve with you and on behalf of the people, because military families is what makes the fabric of this nation. One service member, and Patrick Xavier, another service member, Donna Fletcher, both have streets and a park named after them, but there's one special service member, Juan Restrepo. In the process of saving his unit and giving his life, reconnected my family. I was able to reunite with them after 44 years in Dallas this past Thursday. Family is everything, folks. If it was not for the service members protecting our freedom, we're not a family. We're not the American family. I want to thank each and every one of you, and this is probably one of the largest crowds, Mayor, I have seen in quite some time. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, Francine Novo and team for putting this together. Our city staff has been doing this. We're going to hear from some really, really good speakers in just a few moments. So with that, may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Amen.
Commissioner Iris Seipel.
Well, let's get ready. Good morning, everyone. It is really, that spray feels pretty nice. Wow. It is really nice to see such a large crowd, because it has dwindled a couple of times to where it was like, why aren't more people here? Why aren't they here in remembrance and honor and respect? So family members that are here, thank you for being here. Loved ones that are here, thank you for being here as well. And all of you that are just out here, that just showing your respect and your thankfulness for what has happened. So it is an honor to be here with you today as we come together to remember and to honor the service and sacrifice of our nation's finest and bravest. We gather to honor those who were so willing to give of themselves to defend their country. Warriors are selfless creatures. They battle as a team and look out for one another to their last dying breaths. We are here today to remember the sacrifices they have made to honor, duty, and country. We think of the heroes who join with us today and those who sadly are here only in spirit. We stand in the midst of patriots and the families and friends of those who have served so nobly. What is it that inspires and enables ordinary citizens to rise to the challenge of battle, to be willing to make that ultimate sacrifice of their lives in service to their country? What is it that motivates them to respond and contribute wherever and whenever they called upon to do so? The answer is values. The proud legacy of our armed services and our country is grounded in these core values of loyalty, duty, pride, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Loyalty means to bear true faith and allegiance to the U.S. Constitution, your unit, and other soldiers. Duty means to fulfill your obligations. Respect means to treat people as they should be treated. Selfless service means to put the welfare of the nation before your own. Honor means to live up to exemplary values. Integrity means to do what's right, legally and morally. Personal courage means to face fear, danger, and adversity, whether physical or moral. These values made our country strong, and these values will keep our nation strong. We in this country owe a debt of gratitude to those who sacrificed their lives so that we could live free. We can start to pay that debt by never forgetting and remembering what they stood for. The soldiers we honor today came from all walks of life, but they shared the fundamental qualities of pride, courage, determination, dedication to duty, and integrity. And they did not go to war because they loved fighting. They were called to be part of something bigger than themselves. They were the ones who said, "Send me, send me." They were ordinary people who responded in truly extraordinary ways in very extreme times. How do we thank those who have given so much to keep our country, our prosperity, and our freedoms intact? We have awarded many medals to soldiers. We have added their names to monuments, and we've named buildings after them. But nothing can ever replace the hole left behind by a fallen soldier and no number of medals or ribbons can completely comfort the families that are left behind. But this only strengthens my belief that the best way to truly honor the fallen soldier is to care for his or her wounded brothers and sisters and to safeguard and provide for their families. For those we lost on the battlefields, we must honor their memories across this country and in every hometown. As a nation, we made a promise that must be kept to honor our fallen, and we must keep that promise. They earned our enduring respect when they wrote that blank check to fight for our country, up to and including giving of their very lives. So please spend some extra time with your loved ones. Step back from the daily stresses and reflect on your freedoms that so many of our sons and daughters died to protect. I am asking you to remember why you have the luxury and freedoms that we enjoy today. And I will leave you with something that I was asked. I repeated it. I said it once, and I was asked to repeat it again. This time I'm going to tell you that I found out who the author was. It was Charles M. Province. So listen to his words carefully. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to demonstrate. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, and who allows the protester to burn that flag. Freedom is not cheap. We must protect it always and remember those who gave all to protect it for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Seipel. Representative Rick Stark emailed me. He cannot be here. One of the first he's missed. He's got some family issues, so we're thankful that Representative Stark mentioned that he's always been here. Before I introduce our next commissioner, let me introduce the people that are behind the great commission. The First Lady of Pembroke Pines, Barbara. Stacy Schwartz. Lisa Castillo. Mark Seipel. Patty Good. All right, so it gives me great pleasure. Commissioner Angelo Castillo.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
Those of us who love to read, particularly those of us who love stories, can't help but to come across a biography every so often. And if we do that, chances are we've read something about Lincoln. Not only considered our greatest president, but also one of our most eloquent. And there's a letter that he wrote that's widely quoted. It's been in movies. And I'm going to read it to you today, just as it appeared in the Boston Globe in November of 1864. It's a letter to Mrs. Bixby, who lived in the southern portion of Boston and whose case excited much sympathy. She had 6 sons, enlisted in the Union Army, 5 of which had been killed in battle. And the 6th was at that moment at the U.S. hospital at Redville, and being under indigent circumstances. She received a great deal of care from the churches in her area and from families who held her up in her poverty during that time. And that lonely abode was made cheerful by a letter received from the President of the United States that reads, "Dear Madam, I have been shown in the files of the War Department a statement from the Adjutant General of Massachusetts that you are the mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously in the field of battle. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine which should attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering to you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of a republic they died to save. I brave that that our heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and the lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have had so costly a sacrifice laid upon the altar of freedom. Yours very sincerely and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln. Now, I read this to you today because it is so incredibly personal, this holiday. This is a holiday that we celebrate because people have died representing, defending our freedom. It's our death that must be felt, not just theirs. In that movie where this letter is written by, read by a general, Saving Private Ryan, maybe if some of you have read it, at the end of the movie, the protagonist of the movie, as he gets ready to close his eyes for the last time, says, "Earn this. Earn the life that I am giving up for this country. Earn it in your own way." And to me, it just seems very, very important that we remember that this isn't just about the people who died, though they have, and we must remember them. This is about the death that we should feel in ourselves that they gave for us. It goes beyond that to feel that the way that we earn it is by making sure that we together stay as a family. There's too much anger in the United States right now. We need to replace that with benevolence. We need to replace the hatred with love. We need to replace the anxiety with calm. We need to replace the uncertainty with certainty, with resolve. And it is in those ways, being good neighbors one to the other, being good Americans one to the other, that we earn the sacrifice that was given by so many in so many different places around the world defending our freedom for reasons we don't understand, because our freedom shouldn't have to be defended with blood. It should be defended with love. But we're not there yet as a people. So the best we can do is remember them in the way that is right, by earning it with one another. Because there's nothing ever wrong with America that can't be solved by us simply being better Americans. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want you to repeat after me, and this is what we're telling all the kids in school. Compassion, kindness, and forgiveness. That's what this city's all about, and that's what this nation ought to be about. So let's practice that. Commissioner Tom Good. Maybe. My son was in the Navy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thanks to all of you for being here today. A very, very, very special day. So I just want to start off by stating that, we know that today is not about having a paid day off. It's not about not having to go to school. It's not about the mega sales that's on over at the mall. Today is a day about remembrance. And so I would like to tell you what remembrance means to me. And so in the continued spirit of the Honorable Carl Schechter, I would like to share a story with you today. So I'm going to tell you about John Jones. He's a married man with 2 children. He was summoned to report to military service due to wartime activities. After combat training, he was assigned a unit and sent to the front lines. There he met several fellow stateside comrades who would become his warrior brothers. They ate together, they joked together, and they shared stories of family together. John's favorite time was mail call. He would get letters from his parents, his wife, his siblings, and his children. His parents wrote things like, a parent would, "Son, please be safe. We have so much more to teach you about life when you come home." His wife would write things like, "Honey, I love you so much. I can't wait to see you and give you the biggest hug you have ever gotten." His siblings would write things like, "Brother, so proud of you. The grill is waiting for you to be the master of barbecue for all our family picnics." And his children would write things like, "Dad, I scored the most points in our championship game. You were right. Be strong, show no fear, and you will prophesy great things." But one evening, during a fierce firefight, a grenade landed in the foxhole that he and several other combatant brothers were defending. "Everybody out!" John shouted, and before you knew it, John threw himself on the grenade. Kaboom! John was a casualty of war. The news that was delivered to John's family that he would be honored with a Purple Heart, that had it not been for his unselfish act of heroism, 10 other warrior brothers would not have made it home to their families. During John's memorial, tears were shed with his family and his friends. And amongst those tears were quiet thoughts. His parents thought, "We will not be able to teach you all that we know, but we will teach everyone everything we know about you." His wife thought, "I will never be able to hug you again, but I will share our love to comfort others." His siblings thought, "We will never be able to have family time together, but we will demonstrate our pride for you for generations to come." And his children thought, "I will never be able to share my accomplishments with you, Dad, but I'm going to be just like you." The point of my story is that we will never forget those who lost their lives protecting this country, but also let us not forget those who lost their heroes protecting the love of family. So please, allow me to give a moment of silence, not only to our fallen heroes, but also to those who lost their family members. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, before we introduce our guest speakers, since you mentioned it, Commissioner Good, Commissioner Schechter, you want to say a couple of words? Commissioner Schechter?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me to speak today. Just have a couple of words.
Okay.
This has always been my favorite event in the city of Pembroke Pines. And as always, I'll be brief. Today, we gather to honor those who died defending our freedom and to remember that they fought and died defending our liberty, honor, and way of life. They died so that we could live in a country where civility, integrity, justice, and respect for ourselves and our fellow man and woman is the norm, not the exception. In a country where no man is above the law. They died so America would be that beacon on the hill, a shining light that all nations would seek to emulate. My father was an immigrant. He came to America in 1917 to escape being conscripted by the Russian army and promptly volunteered to serve in the United States Army, World War I. If he was going to fight, he was going to fight for America, not for Russia. My brothers, Ben, a proud Marine who died 9 years ago, and my brother Saul, sitting there, and I, we all served in World War II. 3 sons in the service at the same time. 3 first-generation Americans who came home to live active, productive lives, contributing to the growth and vitality of a great nation. We serve for the same reasons those we honor and remember today serve. We serve to protect an America that we love. I hope that they and we did not serve in vain. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And before we get to our guest speakers, which are going to be great, I was in Publix the other day and I bumped into Dana Cole, former band director at Central Campus. Oh, still. Yeah, still. She's still alive. Still alive. It's a Remembrance Day. That's what quick? Is that quick? So she told me about a story. I just want her shortly to repeat what she told me. You're going to love this. Ms. Cole, you're living. Wow.
Without getting to, and pardon my attire, but I didn't know he was actually going to put me on this spot. But it was about 1.5 years ago, 2 years, that I was playing at a concert, and in the audience that day was the conductor emeritus of the United States Air Force Band. He was a machine gunner in World War II, landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day. And he said to me, Dana, when we go back to do the 75th anniversary of D-Day, you should come. So I thought, So last February, word came that you could apply for the band. So I put my name in, and on Saturday of this week, my daughter and my husband and my daughter will be playing too. We are traveling to Paris. We'll do a concert in Paris on June 4th. And on June 6th, we'll be playing a concert on Omaha Beach on D-Day. To honor the 75th anniversary of the day that changed the course of the world. Colonel Gabriel will turn 94 this coming Friday. He left the Army after World War II and then became the conductor of the United States Air Force Band, achieving the rank of full colonel. So he will be conducting our band. I am so honored to be able to do that. And when I've shared that story and I see World War II veterans, I just keep thinking, how much longer are we going to be able to hear from you? And the time is coming, right? It's inevitable, but I mean, we're very honored. So thank you for your service, and we're honored to be able to do this in your memory too. Thank you.
That was super. I'll see you at Publix. All right, now to our guest speakers. The first one I'm going to introduce is my Congresswoman. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz from the 23rd. Our Congresswoman. I always say she's mine, but she is on appropriations. You know what that is? Hola, dinero. And she does well for our city. And she's on the armed forces. She is on so many good things. She makes us so proud every day that I'm proud to introduce our great Congresswoman, Debbie Wasserman.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor Ortiz, and really thank you to the entire leadership of this city for always making a commitment to honoring our fallen as well as our veterans. And this is such a poignant and special day, and one that is, for me, incredibly important for us to mark and honor those who served our country. We do pay tribute to those Americans who paid the ultimate sacrifice representing our country to protect and preserve this great democracy each Memorial Day. This Memorial Day, I'm recently returned from a congressional trip that I led to the South Pacific to meet with our troops, to meet with our military leaders, because we are sadly not free of wartime and its stressors. And as the chair of the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs Subcommittee on Appropriations, one of the components of our budget is funding for all of the military cemeteries and battle monuments that the United States has around the world. And I had the privilege of visiting those cemeteries in both Manila, in the Philippines, as well as in Hawaii, where we were able to pay tribute to our fallen there. It's always unbelievably moving to see the thousands of headstones, and it really hits you full in the heart when you see how many individuals, human beings, patriots, paid the ultimate price. Dana, I am really privileged to be able to share with you that I will be in the audience in Normandy with you, cheering you from the crowd, because I will be part of the official congressional delegation that will travel to Normandy, 100 members strong, to honor and celebrate the 75th anniversary of D-Day. And one that it's important to note with our World War II veterans here is likely the last major anniversary of D-Day in which we will be joined by our World War II veterans. It's an absolute incredible privilege to have a job description not only to represent our community, but within my congressional job description to fight every single day to make sure that the resources that our troops need, as well as that our veterans need, are provided. It is too easy to get caught up in the rush of our daily lives and overlook the constant vigilance and sacrifice across the entire globe that members of our military dedicate every single day. These courageous servicewomen and men put their lives on the line each day, and Commissioner Good, as the only veteran to be currently serving on the Pembroke Pines City Commission, thank you very much for your service personally, truly. Too often, our troops don't come home to their families and friends and communities, as Commissioner Good and Commissioner Schwartz and Castillo mentioned. We must never, ever forget their sacrifices. Every generation has fought to preserve our freedom and defend our ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and every generation has lost servicemen and women in that effort. So today on Memorial Day, we pause to honor that ultimate sacrifice paid by so many. We honor them by remembering, and we honor them by vowing never to forget that through their sacrifice, our democracy lives on. There's nothing more true or real than that fact. As we honor the memory of those we have lost, we must also honor our returning veterans by providing them with the resources that they need to transition back to civilian life. The toll of war is not felt on the front lines alone. It is often felt long after our soldiers return home. We must do all we can to care for our veterans' physical, emotional, and financial well-being. Florida has the nation's third largest veteran population, including more than 33,000 veterans in my congressional district, Florida's 23rd. As a member of not only the Appropriations Committee, but also the chair of the Military Construction and VA Subcommittee, I know my commitment to them is unwavering and absolute, and clearly this city's commitment to them is as well. My committee is the only committee in the House that takes care of a service member during their entire military life cycle, from active duty through their service as a veteran. And I know I want to make sure that they can continue to receive quality health care at the VA, and most importantly, that it isn't privatized. We have to ensure that mental health care for our soldiers and veterans is one of the highest priorities at the VA. We still have an entirely too high suicide rate of our veterans population. But I'm proud to report that after extensive work and negotiations with my colleagues, the full Appropriations Committee approved our 2020 fiscal year bill, which accomplished many of these key priorities. That legislation also provides $2 billion in emergency funding to address hurricane damage in Florida and North Carolina, and another $1.5 billion to be used for quality family housing. The bill funds VA medical care at $80.4 billion, providing 7 million patients to be treated in FY20, and we were able to fund a 9.5% funding increase for our veterans and our troops this year, which is the largest increase in recent history. I'm also proud to say, as the first woman to chair this subcommittee, it includes $582 million for gender-specific care for women. It is absolutely critical that the fastest rising population of our veterans served by the VA are women, and making sure that we make a commitment to their health care is absolutely critical. We'll support several initiatives to remove barriers to mental health care for women and reduce the stigma of seeking treatment, as well as put an emphasis on PTSD research and treatment, firearm safety for our veterans, and supporting the Veterans Crisis Line. I'm proud to report, particularly on Memorial Day, that this bill also increases funding over last year's fiscal year budget for Arlington National Cemetery, and we'll have an opportunity to expand and open an entirely new section of Arlington National Cemetery so we can accommodate more veterans who qualify, more of our fallen, and funding for the Armed Forces Retirement Home. This is the type of progress that our veterans deserve. But let me be clear, highlighting our progress doesn't mean our work is done. Our veterans deserve quality health care in a timely manner, employment resources, and affordable, responsible mortgage options that let them put a solid roof over their family's head. Our responsibilities and commitment to honor both those we have lost and the 21 million veterans across this nation must be unwavering, just as their dedication to our nation has been. As I've seen throughout my time in public service, each day presents new opportunities for progress, but there are also new challenges that threaten this great democracy. Our veterans know better than anyone that vigilance and sacrifice are a constant cost of freedom and liberty. I know that all of you would proudly stand shoulder to shoulder with today's soldiers because you love this country as I do and all that it represents. As your representative in Congress, I will always stand by all of our veterans and help to put a human face not only on the fallen, but on those that are continuing to serve and who have served us every single day, so that we can continue not only to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, but also make sure that we are honoring those who have lived, come back, transitioned to civilian life, and we can honor their service for the rest of their lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman Washington Schultz. Very inspiring. Thank you for your many years of service. As a senior now, legislator only in career, not in age. And I must, as a pastor, confess a sin of envy for both you and Dana going to the Normandy celebration. God bless you, and may you have safety going and safety back and represent us well. If you are a transitioning veteran, we have a wonderful program right here in South Florida, run by the United Way. It's called Mission United. And they are helping veterans transition in marvelous ways. I mean, the stories are incredible. And if you are a transitioning veteran, they have a representative here. It happens to be my wife, Stella Tokar. Stella, if you'll stand up just so they can see who you are. And if you're a transitioning veteran, if you're a veteran who needs help, see her, because they have some great services to help you in your transition. Well, it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker today. Anyone who has served in any branch of the armed forces know that it's the enlisted men and women who are the gasoline that power our military machine. It's the non-commissioned officers and the staff non-commissioned officers that are the oil that keep that machine running smoothly. And it's the sergeant majors who provide the spark every day to keep that thing fired up. We're honored today to have Sergeant Major Manuel Blas as our keynote speaker. He's a graduate 1987 of JFK High School. He entered into active duty Army in 1990 and attended the basic combat training course at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and the advanced individual training at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. His military occupational specialty is 52D, Power Generation Equipment Maintenance Operator. And he currently serves in his duty as a senior enlisted leader for the Command Joint Staff and the senior enlisted advisor for general officers. Now, what that means is all those generals with the stars on them, he's the guy who tells them what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. He's a combat veteran. has had 4 deployments, serving Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, 1991, Operation Enduring Freedom, 2005 through 2006, Operation Enduring Freedom Afghanistan, 2008 through 2009, Operation Enduring Freedom Afghanistan again, 2013, 2014. His military and civilian education and training include Warriors Leader Course, Basic Non-Commissioned Officers Course, Advanced Non-Commissioned Officers Course, First Sergeant Course, and United States Army Sergeant's Major Academy. He's also qualified as an Army Ranger, Air Assault, Pathfinder, Sniper School. If you notice when he comes up, you'll see a blue rectangular badge above all his ribbons. Has a Kentucky long rifle on it. That's the Combat Infantry badge, and it's only given to warriors who have been up close and personal in the nasty stuff. But he also has MRT and Budget Finance course graduate, which means that he can set you up with a budget, and as a sniper, he can take you out from a mile away if you don't keep it. He's a warrior. He's a patriot. He is one of our living heroes. Would you give a great Memorial Day welcome to Sergeant Major Manuel Blas.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you to Congresswomen, mayors, commissioners. Thank you so much for your moving speech. It's those speeches by you leaders that motivate us, warriors, myself, to truly continue serving our great nation. Pastor, thank you so much, sir. You know, folks, there's no shame in my game. So, yes, I started my career as a power generator mechanic. And before I go into my official speech, I would just like to share that I got bored. I got bored and I wanted to do something more for our country. So I said, I want to go do the infantry stuff. I want to go do the ground pounder, lay down the dirt stuff, and let's get where the rubber meets the road. So for all you combat arms and service members out there in the audience, I salute you and say thank you for your service, and thank you for what you do. So I would say to the Air Force, the Air Force, the Coast Guards, and the Navies, hooah. That's my battle cry to you guys. To the Marines, I don't know. There's your battle cry. And to the Army, hooah. There's our battle cry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished dignitaries, family members, veterans, Gold Star family members. My name is Sergeant Major Blas. I am originally from the tiny island in the Pacific known as Guam, the USA, the territory of Guam. I'm honored and humbled to stand before you today to share my Memorial Day speech with you all. As I prepared my Memorial Day speech over the last few days, I wondered, what would I say? How could I capture the attention of my patriotic audience? How could I inspire them outside of the past and the present Memorial Day recognition speeches? My conclusion was simple. Humble the audience by speaking from the heart. And by touching on portions of my past, combat tours, and experience, while also reflecting back on past knowledge of service members, warriors, heroes who have since gone forward to be with the good Lord above. To the honorable and patriotic people of Pembroke Pines, Broward County, I would like to start off by sharing about the following word: heroes. Not just to reflect on our military members, but also our local warriors, our law enforcement officers, and our peace officers, who have also lost their lives in the line of duty, while also serving to protect life, property, and the security of our homeland and your city. I am sure that everyone has heard of the word heroes. But what is a hero outside of the normal dictionary definition? My infantry experience, not collegiate, but just downright common sense infantry experience, version of a hero or heroes is someone who has the following of every letter in the word heroes. So let's start with H. Honor. Honoring to serve the betterment for others, for the protection of the freedom within our homeland, and for the selfless service to serve and protect our fellow servicemen, brothers, and sisters. The E, the first E in heroes, endure. Endures the painful but loyal and selfless service to serve others before his or herself. To endure the fact that there is no greater honor than to lay down one's life for another and for something greater than themselves. The R in hero. Recognize that serving their country brings honor to themselves, their family name, and their country, the United States of America. The O in heroes. Overcome the fact that as they serve their duty honorably and selfishly, every day they are putting their lives on the line, knowingly knowing that they are not guaranteed to come back home to their loved ones who are expecting and waiting for them to return home into their loving arms. The second E in heroes. Encourage family members, fellow service members, and co-workers that they are proud to serve. Proud of their efforts to defend and protect their country, state, city, and community. Encourage others that their sacrifice is worth every blood, sweat, and tears when it aligns with God, country, family, duty, honor. The S in heroes. Selfless service. And I don't know if many of you know this. To be part of the less than 1% of America's population to serve its people and country. The selfless service to take one's place in a mission, even though the mission was not assigned to them. The selfless service to put one's own life before another. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my meaning of heroes, our fallen warriors. In my past 4 deployments, the longest of the 4 being 18 months, I've been part of a team and leader where our units have lost 6 fallen heroes, warriors. Sergeant Gregory Farron, Specialist Christopher Fernandez, Sergeant Brian Leon Guerrero, Sergeant Samson Mora, Sergeant Michael Uggan, Specialist Dwayne Flores. Warriors, just like your hometown warriors, Donathan Fletcher, Sergeant Restrepo One. After losing those Americans, great Americans and amazing warriors and fallen heroes, each with a unique story, truly a unique story behind their sacrifices and just as the same as all other fallen heroes in the past. I had to ask myself, what do all fallen heroes have in common, other than paying the ultimate sacrifice, or such as the commissioner alluded to, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, integrity, and personal courage? So my common thought, sense, infantry experience as I serve alongside of these warriors, I've since narrowed it down to the common denominator of all fallen heroes, past and present. If you, the audience, may indulge me, I would ask you to try and imagine and envision within your minds as if you were these fallen heroes. Here are some of the denominators. They imagine what the next mission would be after they concluded the current one that they're on. They imagined hot food in the chow hall and how good it would be when they returned from their mission. They imagined if mail had been delivered for when they come in from their missions, just to receive a care package to bring their morale up. They imagine if the morale and welfare tent would be open so that they can be able to make a phone call to talk to their families, loved ones. When they get back from their mission. They imagined how a cold, not warm or hot, but just simply a cold shower would feel so refreshing after being out for 2 days, 2 weeks, or close to a month while executing their missions. The list can go on and on, as some of you in the audience, fellow veterans, could truly attest that my statements to you is true. We would imagine what it feels like to come back in. I would always say, I got you, brother. I got you, sister. Take a break. I got you. Never once thinking of what could happen. I also share with you, again, to picture in your mind, what they don't imagine. And again, this is all true life experiences. So it's courtesy to our veterans. I'm pretty sure you would agree with me. So again, picture in your mind. They don't imagine if it's their turn or not to go out on a mission. They just go on it because of the brotherhood as bands of brothers. They don't imagine if they are going to get shot or hit by an IED. Why? Because they are trained and prepared to accept the inevitable. I made a quote while I was training with them and working with them. Plan for the worst, but pray and hope for the best outcome. They don't imagine if the missions are going to slow down. They accepted the fact that they are deployed to help set others free. They don't imagine if they're ever going to come home again, because they remain focused that they are going to come home. What do these fallen warriors, heroes, do think. They do have the thoughts and the knowledge that they're willing to put their lives on the line for their fellow comrades. They do have the thought that they do not want to worry their family members or loved ones when they call right home regarding how their day or week went while deployed, always leaving out details of the high risk that they face daily. They do have the thoughts that they want to buy something nice for their parents, their spouses, or kids when they get back home. And they do have the thought that they are going to come back home. Ironically, all that our fallen heroes ask in return is that we never forget them and to always look out for their loved ones and family members, just as our leaders expressed. So, to the Gold Star family members, my message, and to their loved ones of fallen heroes. My heart pours out with pain and grief, for I too know what it means to lose a loved one. Whether it be a father or mother, a brother or sister, a son or daughter. But, with all courtesy and due respect, I humbly and respectfully bring to thoughts that the loss of our loved ones should always bring acceptance towards pride, inspiration, honor, and encouragement, that they will always be part of history, and that their efforts and sacrifice will not ever be in vain. Remember that this day and every other day, they are the reasons why we have such an amazing country and we live in freedom. Freedom to live with pride and the grace of knowing we are safe each and every day from terror and freedom's foes. A quote from General George S. Patton: "It is foolish to mourn the men and women who died serving our country. Rather, we should thank God and the Gold Star family members that such men and women lived amongst us." May your day be filled with peace, pride, honor as a Gold Star family. And for all of us as Americans, let us be reminded that we are free and that freedom comes with a price, the ultimate sacrifice. We will not forget those who have died to give that right to you and to me. Ladies and gentlemen, please know, America today, without our fallen heroes, would be like God without his angels. My silent prayers or message to the fallen heroes and our veterans. So for those warriors looking down on earth from heaven, who courageously gave the ultimate sacrifice, and for those of us who have served in the past and present, and have fought bravely while standing guard for America, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. You will never be forgotten. I may not know all the fallen heroes by name, but I do know about their selfless service. We owe them the highest esteemed honor. For such as today, the day all over America that we all come together to set aside this Memorial Day and give gratitude, honor, and pride to all those who have served and died for our great nation and community of Pembroke Pines, for our safety and freedom. God bless our fallen heroes. God bless our servicemen and women. God bless the Gold Star family members, and God bless America and its people. Thank you.
Sergeant Major Bloss, your uniform, all the ribbons and badges speak of your professionalism. But today, you opened your heart to let us know what the heart of a warrior really is. God bless you for that. I don't remember any more moving Memorial Day address that we've ever heard in one of these assemblies. Thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing your time with us today, and thank you for opening your heart to let us know what warriors really feel, what warriors really think. We'll take that with us, I promise you. You've changed our lives. Memorial Day is a day that our country sets aside to remember our fallen heroes. But as a veteran myself, I understand that every soldier, Marine, sailor, airman, Coast Guardman, upon entering the service, raises their right hand and takes an oath of office promising to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. That means they're willing to give their lives if called upon. And so today, with that thought in mind, I think it's fitting to recognize our veterans. And I first want to recognize our amazing World War II veterans, the greatest generation. Would you stand or wave your hand so we can see you? And then I'd like to recognize all of our veterans, all who have served in the armed forces of the United States of America. Would you please stand and be recognized? And there's one more group who daily puts their life on the line for us and our freedom and our safety. That's the men and women of blue, our police officers. Would you please stand and be recognized? In a moment, we're going to conclude our ceremony by the memorial, by the wreath. You'll have an opportunity to put flowers in the wreath if you like. We'll have our benediction there. We'll have the rendering of taps there. We want to remember our hometown heroes. This day and every day, Patrick Xavier, Juan Restrepo, Donald Fletcher, all Pembroke Pine heroes who gave their life in the defense of our country. At this time, I will invite first our elected officials, Sergeant Major, for you to make your way to the memorial, and then the rest of us will follow. Thank you, Randy Rosario, for that beautiful rendition of Taps. Thank you. As our benediction, so that we can all be part of it today, let's do something a little bit different. Let's join in singing together that beautiful patriotic song, America the Beautiful, as our benediction. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. God bless you all. God bless America.
God bless you.